Hi, this is Jaya. In this video, we shall see the summary of Shakespeare's sonnet number 17, Who Will Believe My Poetry in the Future? Sonnet 17 is the final sonnet in the procreation sequence. But it is not the end of the fair youth sequence. It is the last poem concerned with procreation and family legacy. In the very first line, Shakespeare questions how his poems will be read in the future. This fair youth could be William Hughes, who is an actor who played female roles in Shakespeare's plays, or Henry Wriothesley, the most popular candidate, or it could be William Herbert, because Herbert is a person who rejected marriage proposals until he was 24 and was rumored to have an affair with Mary Fitton, who is one candidate for the Dark Lady of Shakespeare's later sonnets. And Shakespeare in this sonnet goes on to explain that his words cannot do justice to the fair beauty of fair youth's eyes, and the poet worries that those in the future would argue whether fair youth was not as beautiful as the poet claims to be, or whether he was actually so very good looking. And in lines 9 to 12, the poet acknowledges that one day his papers, that is his sonnets, will yellow with age, will turn yellow in color with age, and they may become the subject of ridicule. And so, in the final couplet, he urges the fair youth once again to have a child so that he may live on forever. Not only will the fair youth live on through his future children, but he will also live on through the art of the poet. And let's read the poem. The poet asks, Who will believe my poetry in the future? If it were I with the highest praise that you deserve. He says, you deserve all the praise which I am using to describe you. And this is the highest praise. And so he is worried whether people in the future will believe him, because who are at present, they know how good looking the fair youth is. But in future, since they have not seen the fair youth, maybe they will wonder whether to believe or not. Although heaven knows my poetry is no better than a tomb, which hides your vitality and shows less than half of your qualities. And in these lines he says, God knows that just like how a tomb hides the person who's lying under it, he says that his lines are showing only half of the qualities of the fair youth. And he has hidden most of the vitality which he has not portrayed in his poem. If I could express in writing the beauty of your eyes, and in fresh verse count up all your virtues, people in the future would say, this poet is lying. Such heavenly qualities never existed in a human face. And he says, why I have written only half of your qualities and I did not write fully is, I can write, I can express, but just the beauty of your eyes, if I am going to express in my words, if I am going to tell about all your virtues, then the people who are going to read my lines in the future will say that I am lying, because there is no human being which has all these qualities in them. And then my poems, when they are yellow with age, here he means the papers which he is writing. He says, my poems will be written on a paper. And naturally, as the days go, as years go, the paper will turn yellow, would be scorned. He says, here my poems will be scorned. That is, it will age, the paper will age, but my poems will be fresh. And so when people are going to read the letters, they will make fun of me, like old men who are more talkative than honest. Like old men who are more talkative than honest. So he says, there are many old people who are very talkative, but there will not be any truth in their words. And the praise that you deserve would be dismissed as a poet's excessive enthusiasm. Therefore, in future, people may think that I am only bragging about your beauty. And they will dismiss me thinking that I am only showing my excessive enthusiasm in describing you. And the overstretched meter of an old song. And they may think, okay, this is a song which is overstretched in its meter, and because in future they will look at my poems as old poems, therefore they will not consider much for my song. But if a child of yours were alive at that time, but he says, Now, if you give birth to a child and if it is going to go on as a legacy, and if one of your grandchildren or great grandchildren or another child, if it is alive at that time, because that child will have all your beauty, you would be living twice in it and in my rhyme. So, if you are going to have a child and if it goes on like that, then that child will show to the world that whatever I have written about your qualities, about your virtues is true. And therefore, in future, you will have a chance to live twice. One is through your child, and second is through my rhyme. He says this and ends the poem here. If you have anything more to add on to what I've said, please write it in the comment box. Like the video, share it with your friends, and if you are not subscribed my channel, please subscribe and support. Thank you.